Hello and welcome back. Right, today we're going to be going into a bit more in-depth with Dauntless and the Sharpen Your Skills update, as well as the 0.3.1 patch update, whatever you want to call that, whatever that was. Right, so on the last video I did, I basically concentrated on the 234% nerfing of the Yonder keys, basically. They tried to sort of balance the Behemoth damage output compared to your armor tier, whether it be tier 1, tier 2. Tier 3 is probably one of the main ones, because a lot of people, as they're now getting the tier 3 armor, they're still like, hang on, I have armor equivalent to this level, but I am still getting bent over and told to like it, which is obviously not good. Now, one of the first things I'm actually going to be going over in general is just the overall update of Sharpen Your Skills and the main things that sort of came with it, which for a start would be the two new Behemoths, one of which I have come across and I really do enjoy fighting him. He's got an interesting mechanic. I find he is a lot more styled into the way in which a Monster Hunter monster was. I don't mean styled as in the looks, I just mean how he performs. And then there was, I think it's like a massive dragonfly Caraback, but still, Skarn, the only one I've actually got to so far, is there. The next change is what I'm showing here. It's called the patrols, which I find is a really bad way to do things. Basically, if I was to click on find a hunt with a party or whatever that bloody says, I actually don't get to pick what monster I fight. I get thrown into a random one. In order to do that, I would have to create a pursuit, and this is the same for all the tiers. Like when you go to the Monstrous Verge, you click basically patrol and you get thrown in at random. Now when you're actually starting to farm for specific gear, that's a bit of a nightmare, because I'm looking for Moon Reaver stuff at the moment. I like the Moon Reaver armor. I have Moon Reaver armor. This is a really annoying thing to say, bloody back to speech therapy. But I need Moon Reaver. I want to farm Moon Reaver. I need to do several patrols before I can even say, right, let's do a Moon Reaver now. And the higher you get, the more specific requirements you get to actually need for leveling and building gear, which is bloody irritating, and it's just made the game so much more grindy, so much so that it doesn't even need to be that, and it's a bloody piss take, to be perfectly honest. It's beyond irritating, and it does not need to be that way. The next one is the cell system. These are, for the Monster Hunter fans, these are your decorations. Some of these are actually really good. There is one that the first time you go down or die, you don't, you just heal for 300 and you carry on, which is pretty good. But then you've got regenerate stamina by like 1 or 2. It doesn't actually tell you whether that's like an extra 1 point or 2 point per second, but I'll put it this way, on what you're seeing now, I have +9 regeneration on my stamina to get it to go up that quick, because the stamina regen on this game is bloody abysmal. So some cells are good, some are handy, some are just mandatory. They're almost like, you need this, otherwise you're going to have a bad day, which I don't think is also the correct way to go about this. And then there is obviously the combat update, as well as the Warpike, which is the weapon I currently have here. The combat update is actually pretty good. I quite like the damage numbers. I don't really feel they represent the actual weapon themselves, and I kind of wish it was more represented on the crafting screen, because I get really confused when I'm looking at every weapon that says, oh yeah, it's 120 damage, and then I get my axe out, hit it with it, and I'm doing 1200. It's like, that's not 120, is it? Or you get the chain blades out and you start swinging around and you're doing 30 per hit. Well, that's not 120, is it? It needs to be, at least on the crafting screen, a little bit more obvious. I'm not trying to like get you to teach me how to suck an egg here, but when I'm looking at a chain blade and it says 120 damage, I'm expecting to do a little bit more than 30. Right, anyway, as I was saying with the crafting system, this is something that a lot of people have moaned about. This is the basic armour. To upgrade it, it's bloody easy. It just requires a little bit of money and Arcanite. Arcanite, from different levels, you get from just completing a quest. Now, for your tier 2, will be Nasha, Shrike, a few others. Memory, bad. To make them, you require 2 Arcanite and 1 hide or feather, depending on what it is you're going for. Really does depend. Now when you get to tier 3 it gets a bit more specific. Like to make Rage Towel I will require 2 Arcanite from the level, 1 Rage Towel hide, which obviously you get from that's just its normal drop, and if you break the head you will get the Furious Incisor. You will need that to make the helmet. To get the chest and the gloves you will need Rage Towel Scale, and to make the boots you will need Cracked Slapper. These are more specific items you need to get to make things. Now as I said, I'm on the hunt for Reaver items. These is what I need to upgrade Reaver. It does actually continue on. It's not I just need specific items. That's what you need at tier 1 and tier 2. As you progress into tier 3 and definitely as well tier 4, because the requirements also then increase, as I will show you with a little bit of a spoiler of the Narrowback armor. I'll be showing it here, so you can hate me in the comments below. But as you can see, the requirements, they're not much more, it's just 1 more on its normal drop, such as the hide or whatever, but that is what you will be needing. So you can see it does take and lend from Monster Hunter quite a bit on that. It starts off easy, sort of like an introduction, and then it progresses into a you're now going to have a very fun time. The problem is with that, adding into the patrol system is a bit of a bastard. Right, we're now going to be moving on to what the point 1 of it was, such as the airship ready rooms, which they're quite nice. I just sort of wish they synced you up a bit more. I went into that on the last one. We now have private hunts, which are actually really good. I'm enjoying this because it's not so much private, I'm going solo, it's whatever party you have. So if there's 2 of you and you click private, it would just be the 2 of you. If there's 3 of you and you click private, it would just be the 3 of you. These are all lovely things. The weapon crafting actually got an overhaul. What I have shown is the overall overhaul of the weapon crafting. The resource requirement used to be a lot more steep. As I've said, the Yonder Keys overall got this should reducing Dauntless by 234%, whatever the hell that means. The hammer boots, basically hammer boots are good, they're back, we're happy. There's the Arcanite requirement, which comes back into the crafting, and then Grace Flowers. A lot of people have complained that pretty much all resources are a one-time pickup. So Grace Flowers were a nightmare to find. There are now Grace Flowers everywhere! Yay! And there's a few things about titles which no one really cares about. However, there are also some issues, and they do state these issues because they know about them and they are working on them. However, there are a few which I feel are very nonchalant. Well, not so much they are nonchalant, just more Phoenix Labs are nonchalant towards. For example, the bottom one. Behemoths may occasionally walk in irregular patterns. Fix this by slaying them. Cheers, dickhead. Cheers for that, you know. Children may occasionally be fucking annoying. Fix this by throwing them out of a 3rd-story building. Cheers, dickhead. You know, just we know this. We know that the general fix for shitty design mechanic is to kill it. Right? How about you do your fucking job and fix it? Duh. My actual personal favourite on this list is do not log into Dauntless from multiple places at the same time. This will lead to account data corruption. This isn't a known issue. This is something that pretty much every game has. It's also a security thing, you know, to stop your account getting hacked, you know, just duh. Anyway, the overall update has actually been pretty good. There are some concerns with it, such as there's now in-game store, and they said select items such as consumables, things that are like health potions and etc., will not be in the store. Well, they are. They fucking are, so thank you for lying to us, you mongoose. So, there is a little bit of a pay-to-win element now as well. I get it, it's a free-to-play game, you're going to want an actual store to get that revenue in, but introducing it in closed beta and add in what you said you wouldn't? Come on. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!